Alright, we're back, and this is part 3. Alright. And, okay, so, about the guy. So, he writes me back even after, accidentally standing him up. And he thinks that I don't make enough time for him. And I'm like, what do you mean I don't make enough time for you? I don't even know you!
Right, I was gonna say, why would you have to make time for
I
him?
mean, plus on top of that, I work 30 hours a week. I go to school 12 hours a week. And then on top of that, you have to times your classes by 4. And then not including driving. Driving is 6 hours a week for me. So I spend a lot of my time, I have other things I do. And I would expect a man to understand that when I say I'm going to school, that putting my work and school before you should be understandable, because these are obligations before I met you.
Especially if you're meeting for the first time. She don't owe you anything. Really? You're not making enough time for me? Why would I do that? Are you dating?
Do you have a phone? No. I give you my number. Call me. Duh.
Yeah, it don't work that way, bud.
I'll give the guy another try, but so far it's not going so good, because the way he was,
Such a douchebag.
Yeah. So, anyway, I'll give him a try, but whatever. So my weight loss tip for this week would be so my problem last week was change, and that would be my solution this week would be change. She pointed out also clearly last week to me that even that when you lose weight, you still have to change your eating habits.
She got really upset about
I got really upset because the fact is I thought she wanted me to cut more. And it's not that, it's more changing what type of foods I gotta eat,
Sometimes it's the amount. You should take away like a tablespoon a week sometime of food.
No, you can gain by eating more vegetables and fruits instead of.
No, I'm talking about like the starch.
Right. I'm like take away the peas, take away the corn, the stuff that already has natural starch in it. I can understand that. But I took it like she wanted me to cut my stuff in quarters. I already eaten my stuff in half.
Yeah.
Cut me a quarter. I only have a freaking quarter. You're like, you're killing me. You're killing me, okay? That's why I was flipping out, because
weight loss is continuous change.
Not a quarter. Not a quarter of my food. I can understand a tablespoon, but not a quarter.
But like with Weight Watchers, when you lose like 10 pounds, you lose a point. Because, they go off of a point system. And normally that means that you have to readjust your diet to make up for that point that you lost.
Right.
So sometimes you do actually eat more vegetables at the filler, because on Weight Watchers, vegetables and fruits are 0. So, it's give and take. It's give and take with the situation. Excuse me.
Dog had a toy in his mouth. Her mouth. Bad dog.
Had to kill me a dog. But you do have to constantly adjust, even if it's just 1 tablespoon you're taking away, because when you eat, you have like 4 tablespoons of vegetables, 4 tablespoons of whatever starch you make with dinner, and then 3 ounces of meat. So maybe you take away like a tablespoon of meat or a tablespoon of starch, and you add more vegetables. It's just adjustment. You have to constantly adjust.
And I wasn't willing to adjust that week, and that kind of I flipped the switch, and I went off on her, and she called me out on my shit, and I'm glad she did, because I told her it might happen again.
Well, and we all get frustrated with weight loss. Before, when me and her were on Weight Watchers, when I would have a weight loss and she wouldn't, she would get really upset. And then when she would have a weight loss and I wouldn't get upset. I would just get sad, because I would feel like I'm standing still and she's moving forward. So it's nice to have a support person, but it's not always the best thing, because you end up being each other's punching bag some weeks. And you kind of have to tell the other person you need to calm down. I'm happy for you, or I feel bad that you didn't lose, but that's not my fault.
Right.
It's
just our bodies, and each of us have a different body type and genetics, so, she loses more weight sometimes than I do, but And sometimes I'll gain weight and she'll lose. Or she'll gain and I'll lose.
That's how it was before. Since I had gastric bypass, I'll probably never... I might have weeks where I plateau.
Yeah.
But I don't think I'll ever have weeks where I gain.
Right. But I might gain. But that's because I'm going the old natural way.
Yep.
But if I can keep up the workout, you know...
She's doing really good. She's lost 25 pounds. Which is awesome. Yay! And that's the most she's ever actually lost on a diet. So... It's really good.
But that's all fresh fat. That's what I call fresh fat.
That's why she thinks she's gonna plateau at 275.
Yeah, because I've had the 275 for quite a while. So I think that'll be my struggle point. I might have to bump up my workout and cut a little bit more food then.
My struggle point I think will be 250. Yeah. I think that's when I might plateau from.
I think the last time I was 250, I think I was 9th grade.
I was 18. Last time I was 250, I was 19. I was 19. It was just the start of pregnancy.
I was 280 when I was a senior. So.
Girl, when I was a senior, I think I was like 225. Yeah. And I didn't think I was fat.
I knew I was fat. I knew I was fat, but I just didn't care. So, for my single tip this week is actually from an article that I found on Yahoo. See here. It's okay. So this guy gives tips on guy's 1-minute guide to love. Well, I can see his point. Girls can follow this too because it's pretty much universal. So there's 5 tips. There's 5 or 6. There's
I think it's like 10.
Yeah, there's 10. There's 10 tips. Okay, so the first one is don't settle, but don't commit half-heartedly either, which you're misleading the person if you do that, and I've had that before. It's not, just don't do it. You're either in or you're out. That's how it is.
And I also feel with that, you have to be ready to commit everything to that person. So, like, with one of her past relationships, he was committed to her and his family. Well, when you're in a relationship, when you're an adult, now when you're a teenager, it's completely different. But as an adult, when you get into a relationship with a woman, she's supposed to become your family. Yeah. So she's supposed to be just as important.
Yes.
I'm not saying that you're dating a woman for 2 weeks and she says, come to me and your mom's dying, you should leave and go. But at the same time, your world shouldn't just revolve around your family.
Right. You should accept them into the family.
Yeah. And
don't, make them feel like an outcast. Because with A, I did feel an outcast in his family. So.
And that's my problem with my husband's family. And I will say that Jesse made a choice to where he decided that our family became priority 1. But I've had to completely take myself out of even being around those people because they don't like me. I think it has a lot to do with the fact that I'm fat. If I wasn't fat, they probably wouldn't mind me because they're all very skinny.
Yeah, so with A's family. So. Okay, so the next tip, don't take love for granted when you find it, which I know quite a few people that do take love for granted and then they leave it. So just, show the person some appreciation. Okay, 3, life's too short to fight constantly with your partner. And I know, with her at least, with their fights constantly, I understand. My parents, they fight too. I fought with my first ex. No, it's not worth it. If you're going to fight constantly, just break up. Because it's not worth your time. I understand a few fights is worth fighting for, but not all of them. Not all of them need to be won.
Not everything needs to be an argument.
Yeah. Okay, 4, it's up to you to make dating more exciting, which is true. I mean, you do date a person after a while, and you get bored. And you got to keep the excitement going. But I'm going to continue this in part 4. Okay?
8 parts later.